As promised, Hayden is next in the Big Brother 16 character collection. I will be using an offset rainbow loom, and the bands I will be using are skin tone, neon orange, white, brown, olive green, yellow, and black. As always, I start with the attachments, and because Hayden is wearing a Hawaiian flowery shirt, I will be using two different color bands. I'm going to start with an orange on the 6th peg to the 5th peg from the bottom, followed by a white on top, an olive green, followed by a white, and then two skin tone bands all the way to the bottom. It's 3 times, so 2, 2, and 2. And we will cap this with a single skin tone band wrapped 3 times around the hook. We're going to do the same on the other side. An orange with a white on top, green, and then white, and then 3 links of 2 skin tone bands. Now it doesn't matter which color you put first for the 2 different color bands. And this one we will cap with a skin tone band wrapped 3 times. And now we will loop this to the top. The same on the other side. And then I will put these on a spare crochet hook as a holding hook. You can use a toothpick or a barbecue skewer, or anything you like really. Next we will do his feet, and because I can't see his feet in the photo, I'm going to assume that he's wearing sandals because that's just the kind of guy he is. So again, I'm going to use 2 different color bands. I need 2 black for his pants, followed by 1 black and 1 skin tone for his foot. And I will cap this with a black band wrapped 3 times. And we'll do the same on the other side. 2 black for the end of his pant leg, followed by 1 black, 1 skin tone, and capped with a black band wrapped 3 times. And we will loop these. And put these on the holding hook as well. Now we have to make his ears and his nose. And again, take a single skin tone band, wrap it 3 times around the hook, and thread it onto a double loop skin tone band. We'll pull those over. That's 1 ear, a single skin tone band, wrapped 3 times around the hook, thread onto a double loop skin tone band, and those are the ears. We'll put those on a holding hook. Now we will do the nose, a single skin tone band, double loop, wrap 2 times around the hook, thread it onto a single skin tone band, double looped, and thread those on. And that will be our nose. And I will put this on a holding hook. And now we will do the eyes. And I'm going to again use E-beads and the grass from Easter baskets. I'm going to take a white band and double loop it, thread the floss through, and slide an E-bead onto the ends, and then onto the white band. Then I'm going to put my hook through these 2 loops and through the other end. And that's one eye. Another white band, double looped, thread the floss through, and slide an E-bead onto the end and onto the white band. And again, you can use bands for this, black if you like, or you could find out the actual eye color and use that color band if you prefer. And you would just double loop that band, thread it 3 times on your hook, and then onto a double loop white band. Whichever way you prefer, you are going to take your 2 eyes, whether they have an E-bead for the eye or a band for the eye. You're going to thread both onto a single loop skin tone band, and we will place this on a holding hook. Now we have to do his hair. He has quite long hair, so we're going to use yellow bands. As I learned doing Nicole, 6 single bands looped together brings the hair just to the shoulders, which is about what we want. So I'm going to take a single yellow band, wrap it 2 times around my hook, and thread it onto 6 single yellow bands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you've watched my previous video on Nicole, you'll know that I do this with the bands on my finger because I find it the most expeditious way to get this done. You could also do a single chain on the loom if you prefer. Single yellow band, wrap it 2 times around the hook, and thread it onto 6 single yellow bands. And we are going to repeat these for a total of 6 extensions. So you can pause this video and I will meet you back when you're done. Okay, so you should have 6 hair extensions ready to set aside, each with 6 single bands plus the cap band. And now we're ready to band the loom. We're going to start with the hair and put 2 yellow bands from the first peg in the center to the second peg in the center, 2 yellow bands from the first peg on the left to the first peg in the center, and the same on the other side. And then we will put 2 yellow bands going down twice on either side. Two on the left and 2 on the right. And now we will do the skin tone bands, and we will put 2 down the center 3 times, and then we need 3 bands for the neck, and then 2 bands on the left, 2 bands on the right, and then we will close off the head by putting 2 bands from the 4th peg on the left to the 5th peg in the center, and from the 4th peg on the right to the 5th peg in the center. And now we are going to do his shirt, and again I will be using 2 different color bands, actually 4 altogether. We're going to be using the white, the orange, the green, and the brown to make up the pattern on his shirt. So I'm going to put 1 white band and 1 brown band going down the center, 1 orange and 1 white, 1 white and 1 green, and 1 brown and 1 white. And now we will go to the shoulders, and we will put 1 white and 1 orange going to the left, 1 orange and 1 white going to the right. Next, going down the left side, we will put 1 green and 1 white, 1 white and 1 brown, 1 orange and 1 white, and 1 white and 1 green. And we will do the same thing on the other side. A green topped with a white, a white band, and then a brown band, an orange band, and then a white band, and a white band, and a green band. Next we will do his jeans, and he's wearing black jeans. So I want to put 2 black bands going down the center, and 2 black bands going 3 times down either side. So 2 black bands 3 times on the left, and 2 black bands 3 times on the right. And we will close off the jeans by putting 2 black bands from the 3rd peg from the bottom in the center to the 4th peg on the left, and 2 black bands from the 3rd peg in the center to the 4th peg on the right. And this we will cap with a single black band wrapped 3 times around the peg. And now we'll go over the banding. We have 2 yellow bands going from the center to the left and to the right, 2 yellow bands going twice down the left, once down the center, and twice down the right. 2 skin tone bands going once down the left, 3 times down the center, and once down the right. 2 skin tone bands going from the left to the center and the right to the center. 3 skin tone bands for the neck. For the shirt, we have a white and an orange band going from the center to the left and the center to the right. A white and a brown band going down the center. A white and a brown band on the left. A white and an orange band in the center, and a white and a brown band on the right. On the left, we have a white and an orange, a white and a green, and a white and an orange. On the left, we have white and green, white and brown, and white and green. We have 2 black bands going down the center, 2 black bands 3 times going down the left, 2 black bands going 3 times down the right, and closing off the pants we have 2 black bands going from the 3rd peg up from the bottom in the center to the 4th peg on the left and to the 4th peg on the right. And now we're ready for our holding bands. And I will put a single yellow band around the 1st peg on the left, the 2nd peg in the center, and the 1st peg on the right in an upside down triangle shape. And I will put a single skin tone band in an upside down triangle shape around the 2nd peg on the left and the right and the 3rd peg in the center. I'm going to skip the next 2 outside pegs. I am going to put a right side up triangle around the 4th pegs on the left, right, and center. Moving down to the shirt, I am going to put a white band in a right side up triangle around the 7th peg in the left, right, and center. A white right side up triangle around the 8th peg in the left, right, and center. And a white band in a right side up triangle around the 9th peg in the left, right, and center. And a single black band in a right side up triangle around the 10th peg in the left, right, and center. Now we're ready for our attachments. I will attach the ears to the 2nd peg down on the left, and the 2nd peg down on the right. Next I have the feet. I will attach one to the bottom peg on the left and the bottom peg on the right. The same with the arms. I will attach one to the 6th peg down on the left and the 6th peg down on the right. Next we'll attach the eyes. and they go on the third peg down on the left and the third peg down on the right. And we will separate the eyes and grab one of the skin tone bands and pull it up and around the third peg in the center. And pull the eyes forward. This is where you would attach the nose if you wanted to. I attach mine differently, so if you wanted to, you could attach your nose by putting it around this fourth peg down in the center. We're going to attach the hair extensions. One goes on the first peg on the left, the second peg on the left, and the third peg on the left. The same on the other side, the first peg on the right, the second peg on the right, and the third peg on the right. Now we're ready to loop. I'm going to start in the center and grab the first two bands on the top, which are going to the right. The next two bands, which go to the left, and the bottom two, which go straight up. And then we'll go to the left, and straight up. Being careful to grab two bands at the bottom and to stay inside the holding bands, and watching to make sure you have the teardrop or raindrop shape. And we're going to loop all the way up to the neck, grabbing just the bottom two bands, and same thing on the right side. All the way up to the neck. Again, staying inside the holding bands and making sure we have a teardrop shape. And now we will loop up the center. And when we get to the neck, we need to make sure that we grab all three bands of the neck. And then we'll reach in and grab the top two bands, which are going to the right, and the next two bands are going to the left, and the next two are going straight up. And we will attach the mouth after we remove it from the loom. Now we're going to loop up the left side, again being careful to stay inside the holding bands, and you don't want to catch the bands attached to the eyes, and you want only the bottom two bands all the way to the top. Same thing on the other side, staying inside the holding bands, grabbing just the bottom two, and looping to the top. Now we're going to loop up the center. I need to grab my nose here. And to attach it, I'm going to grab these bands and slide it onto those bands before I loop them over the peg. And that attaches my nose. And then I will finish looping these last two bands to the top. And now I'm going to grab a single yellow band. I'm going to place my hook inside all of these bands. Grab a hold of this yellow band with my hook, pull it through, and make a slip knot. Don't tug too hard because it may break. And now we will remove this from the loom, starting at the bottom, again, so we don't stretch the figure too much. And once I get to the neck, I like to use my hook and I just slide it around the peg so that I don't pull and break any bands. A lot of bands there and it can get tight. And we'll just pull the rest off. There we go. Now we're going to straighten this out a little bit. And I will start at the feet and put my hook in through the first teardrop shape and pull it to the outside. The same on the other foot. Put it through the first teardrop shape, not the cap band, and give it a little tug to the outside. That will make his feet look like they're more defined. I'm going to squeeze it in at the waist a little bit. I'm going to pull his arms down so that they don't look like they're sticking straight out. And I can do that by putting my hook in and tugging down on the arm. And the same thing on the other side. Put my hook through all the bands and giving it a little tug. There we go. I'm going to bend his arm at the elbow here. And we really must do something about his unruly hair. So what I'm going to do is take the middle extension and I'm going to find one band at the side of his face, and I'm going to put my hook through there. I'm going to grab the two loops of the cap band and pull this through and down. I'm going to do the same thing with the top extension, going through that same loop, grabbing the two bands of the extension piece and pulling them all the way through. And we'll just have to play with them a little bit to get them to position properly. I'm going to take one of these loops, on the side of his head beside his ear. Grab the 2 loops of the cap band on the middle extension and pull it down. And then I will do the same thing with the top extension through the same band, grabbing the 2 loops of the cap band and pulling it down and through. And then we just need to adjust his hair so it hangs kind of straight. And it may be a good idea to do this on the loom. They may not curl as much. Of course, I think of that now when I'm done. However, try that next time I have long hair, I guess. And now we need to tuck the slip knot band in the back and out of sight. We'll just pull it through a band or 2. I think his hair might be a little bit long. Next time I might do 4 or 5 loops instead of 6. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and please like and subscribe, and wait for our next character, which I believe will be Amber. Thank you for watching.